Welcome everybody, I'm Stuart, host of the Group Sales Power Hour, and I was just showing off my mug. I mean, not this mug, but this mug. Is it not the biggest? Yeah, remember those days back in vacation.com? I was the very first Senior Vice President of Marketing, by the way. There you go. So this brings back memories. And guess who paid for the mugs? Princess Cruises. Hold on. Oh, that's delicious. Welcome, everybody. We've got a serious hour ahead of us. I will start off with slides, as I have done in the past, because you tell me you like them a lot. Now, a couple quick things here. If you are an invited guest, if you are a boot camp alumni or alumnus, all of my boot camp alumni, and if you are an alumnus, did I say that right? Plural, singular? Let me know that you're in the house if you want. You can participate or just kind of sit back, hang out, but I'm sure glad you're here. Got a lot of stuff sent in to me in advance, so I'm going to take your questions that you type in. As always, I'm also going to take the stuff that was sent in to me, email it to me. Thank you for that. And also share a couple of inspiring stories and welcome everybody in. I know Milani had let me know that she was here in Memphis conducting a group tour. Awesome. I'm so glad. Hey, I want you all to bring a group here to Memphis. It's a great city. It's so accessible, so affordable, and the food is great. The music is great. The people are so friendly. Who else? I know, Karen, you put in a question here. We're going to get to that. Absolutely. Lynn is here. I haven't seen you in so long. Welcome back. Trinita asked a question. Are you going to be at the Dream Vacations National Conference this year? And the answer is yes, I am. I actually will board the ship in San Juan, and I have one important session on the ship on Symphony of the Seas. I can't wait. So Trinita, I guess I'm going to see you there. I'm very, very excited to be back. Actually, in 2 weeks, right before Symphony of the Seas, I will keynote the Nest Fest conference, because I wrote the business plan for Nest. I helped launch that 15 years ago. So they invited me back to keynote. That's on the Eurodam. So I'm going from the Eurodam to the Symphony of the Seas. I'm so very excited. And yep, Trinita, I look forward to seeing you there. Scott said, I'm here. Welcome, Scott. Glad you are here. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to start off with the slides first. As you all make yourself comfortable, drink your coffee, and start typing in questions, anecdote stories. If you want me to turn your mic on during today's program, let me know. It'd be my pleasure to do so. I'm just back from Chicago. I didn't go there for business. I was actually in St. Louis for business, for Travel Leaders talking too fast. Travel Leaders Network, their sales expo. Then went to Chicago because my wife had to go to Chicago for business, so I tagged along. We had a great time. And I have a couple of important announcements right after the slide. So let's get right back down to it. And I'm going to do that. See that? I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do that. So you should be seeing my slides right now. So I've been hearing good stuff that you like when I kick off with a few slides. And I'll tell you, this is something big that's been on my mind and on my heart, and it's the subject of packaging. But before we do that, I figured let me take this opportunity to show you that I've made some improvements, enhancements to Group Sales Success Summit. Those of you who are in boot camp and you have access to both summits, and those of you who, if you're not a boot camp, if you bought access, GSSS for keeps, you've been giving me feedback saying it's kind of hard to find who I want to see and this kind of stuff. So I'm putting forth a big effort to make it easier to use and consume the information so you come back and get it when you need it. So the first thing that we've done is, and here's a snapshot, when you log into GSSS1, I've set up a listing, last name by speaker. And you know, GSSS1, we had 46 speakers. So you'll see that, so you know what day they are and what company they're with. So I think that will help. And this is a snapshot here of GSSS2, where we had 62 speakers, and also the names of every speaker and the company that they're with. Now, when I do GSSS3, which is in the works right now, more to come on that. Group Sales Success Summit 3 is in the works now. So if you or you know of a coach a super highly successful agent or a supplier or brand, if you want to be featured, let me know, because I'm gathering that now, putting the piece together. But I kind of jumped ahead of myself. That was one of the announcements. But I'm going to also have a search feature. I'm going to actually put keyword tags in these speeches. I mean, together there's over 100 speeches here, training modules, if you will. So therefore, if there's something particular you're looking for, you could type in that keyword and you'll be able to find the speaker who's talking about it. So because it's over, the amount of information and inspiration is overwhelming. So I just wanted to show you. Now we're going to talk about the package, friends. And I'm going to tell you right now, among the many reasons why, the group business is very difficult to master, is because I have found that most professional travel entrepreneurs, why they fail, they do what's easy. So basically, to get the business, you see, they present the lowest possible price, because the first thing they're afraid of, and I don't want to say you, because I may not be talking to you, but if I am, listen up. You present the lowest possible because you believe, hey, let me just get the business, let me lock it in, and then we'll create something bigger, better. I have to qualify them first. Well, I'm here to tell you, friends, that you got to qualify before you offer a price. You qualify first. You don't just offer a price point, because well, we'll get to this, but if you just offer a price point, then and then wait and say, hey, I'll do all the hard work after, you're making a mistake. I love you, but I need you to hear it, that's not the best way to do it, because then at the end of the day, it's harder to upsell naturally after you presented a price, and you'll end up selling the bare bones, stripped down, off the shelf product, which you hear me say all the time. And that's not going to win you the business. And if it does, it's not going to win you a loyal client. So I encourage you, friends, that you need to harness packaging power. Packaging power is so critical. We're not even talking about the group leader now. We're not talking about the group launch sequence, all the other elements that comprise a successful group business management program. How you get the business, how you manage it, how you launch it, how you make money. There's so many elements, but I urge you, please don't settle on what's easy, because you'll cheat yourself out of success. Anybody, including the thousands of .coms, can put the same price point out that you are. That's easy. And don't settle on dull, because you're actually cheating your clients out of a better experience when you just offer the same stripped down, off the shelf, bare bone product. You're cheating them. You know yourself, if you were going to this trip, you know they're going to miss out on this, that, and they're going to come back disappointed. And that would be the worst thing in the world, because here you are, you made very little to no money because you worked on price, and now they're never coming back again. Now, this may be painful to hear, but don't be amateur. You can't be. You have to be a real pro to master groups. That's why you're on this call. There's no amateurs on this call. I'm going to say it again. Give yourself a reach around, pat on the back. There's no amateurs on this call. And whether you're watching it live right now together, or whether you're watching the replay, you wouldn't be here investing this precious time that's so valuable if you weren't a pro, and if you didn't want to be enormously successful. So a quick review of why you must package. And number one, it's your job, friends. It's what you signed up for. Some of you may think, but Stuart, I don't want to be an FIT agent. That's too complicated. Well, there's an FIT element of group travel. There is. Friends, if you're just selling the same product that's being sold by 100,000 other agents and .coms, then you're not needed, right? You're just an order taker, and that's not you on this call right now. And when you do it, you're validating your existence. When you package, you're proving to the world why you will never be obsolete, because you are saving them from missing things, boring trips, and regrets. You know what? That's the very purpose of what you do. And say that to people when they go, well, why would I pay more with you? Oh, I'll tell you why. You pay a lot more with me. Here's why I'm never going out of business, never going out of style, because I'm going to save you the heartache of coming back sad, regretful, disappointed. Those of you who follow me know how to fill in these blanks, because when you package, and you can use these exact words when you're talking with a client and they're like, no, we just want a price. Well, I don't give just prices. I will package, which will reduce your stress and risk, which will add value and convenience, and be bold enough to give them an example. Like, for instance, when you're on the island of Jamaica, let's take care of it in advance, what we're going to do. In fact, your group is large enough. Let me plan for you a private trip so you're not all waiting on various lines on the cruise ship. And you might not all go together. And you might not even get on because it's sometimes sold out. You know, you have to tell them the risk, and tell them how you're going to do it more conveniently. And of course, you're going to transform their experience from, say it, go ahead. I heard it, Scott. I heard you say it. Good to great. I think Danny, you said it too. Dawn, you said it too. Trinity, you said it too. Lynn, you said it too. Good to great. Good to great. Number 6, it's a simpler sale. And you're like, whoa, how is packaging a simpler sale? Well, this isn't about the work you have to do, because you have to do this work, but it's a simpler sale because instead of saying, okay, here's the cruise or here's the trip, and you can add this, or this, and then you pull an hair out of your head, you go nuts. All you're saying is, this is it. This is the package. And it includes this. We're going to do this, and this. Instead of just saying, of course, the feature, you say the benefit. And we're going to explore. We're going to eat. We're going to drink. We're going to walk. We're going to run. We're going to hike. Right? Make it immersive. It's a simpler sale when you say, here's your one choice. One choice. Got it? Number 7. I want you to be a convenient store. So when people know when they call you, it's like, wow, man, look at this. The weight is off my shoulders. The monkeys are not on my back anymore. The monkeys are on my travel agent's back. She or he is going to take care of it because they got contacts everywhere. I got a phone call yesterday from Sherry, who's in boot camp, and Sherry, Sherry has the opportunity to put together a domestic group, and there's a lot of things she needs to add in, and she's doing the hard work. She was just kicking around some ideas. Hey, listen, yes, you have to do some FIT work. I mean, you don't want your client doing that, or else they're more qualified than you. And of course, naturally, you're going to increase margins, profits, because you're not just going to be a commission hostage anymore. You're going to earn more because you're giving more. And number 9, you're going to eliminate waffling. Waffling meaning, should I do this or not? Should I do this or not? When clients, you have 50 people going, 12 people going, 100 people going, and they keep changing their mind. They want this, they don't want this. It'll drive you nuts. This is it. Now, I'm not saying it's it permanent, that's it, because sometimes you will say, okay, here's your choice. On Tuesday we can do the zip lining, or we can get a massage on the beach, whatever. You could say either this or this, and you know that price wise they're equivalent, so no matter what they choose, you're covered, you're cool. But you can give choices, but you know what I'm saying? I kind of like that concept. Have you ever done that? Right? And then tend to beat the competition. And you won't beat the competition by just price match or by beating the price by $10. I'm preaching to the choir. You know what I'm talking about here. But you will beat the competition when you package, when you leverage packaging power. And the first way to start this, and this is all in boot camp, right? My boot campers. So if you forget this, if you need reminding, go back into boot camp. And if you want me to talk more about it in our Facebook, and I will post these slides in our Facebook group, our boot camp Facebook group, so you can get them down. The first step is to ask for permission to package. Hey, Mr. Mrs. Jones, do I have your permission to create a more inclusive package for you? Sit back, let them wait. Well, what does that mean? Is it going to cost more money? Absolutely. But if I didn't includes some of these elements in for you in advance, it's going to cost you way more when you get there. It may be sold out when you get there. The lines will be long. So the whole idea is, and I'm only going to build into the package stuff I know you want, stuff I know you need, stuff I know you love, the experiences that you really desire. We'll talk about it. But yeah, the price point's going to be higher. But if you were to buy all these things separate, listen to me, it's going to end up costing you more and a lot more stress too, because you're a group. I can negotiate. When you say yes, Stuart, and you're giving me permission to package, you're giving me permission to negotiate better, harder on your behalf. So, do I have your permission to package? I mean, who wouldn't say? Who would say yes? And if they say no, we want a bare bones stripped down price, you have to consider saying, see ya. I mean, seriously. All right, let me shut the screen off here, and I'm going to check to see if we have any comments. Right, the screen is off, right? Do you see me anymore? I don't know if you see me anymore. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Nope, I don't know. Hold on, I'm trying to get my beautiful face back on. There you go. Tell me if you see me. I'm not sure you do just yet. Hopefully that will come back on. All right, let me check the boards here. Karen said, if you give a total price on an itinerary and the client asks for a breakdown of that price, what should your response be? And Karen, that's a great question. And say no. Just say no. You cannot give a breakdown of the price because you've negotiated all of these elements. And when you gave me permission to negotiate on your behalf, there's so many moving parts here. You need to come up with a phrase you're comfortable with, so they trust you. You just have to trust me, Mr. Miss Jones. Trust me. No, I can't give you a breakout because those price points are confidential. Friends, you need to take control. You need to have ownership of this. How many other businesses that you buy from would you love to know their pricing scheme and give prefer, and they'd say no, you know? So we need to do this. Jenny said, please post online list. I was late to the party, Jenny, no problem. Welcome. Kay, wait, Kay, you will see me where? Where are you going to see me? You're going to see, oh, you see me. Yes, so the video is working. Woo, just checking. I appreciate it, Kay. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Melanie and Nana. Hey, welcome. All right, cool beans. All right, so I just want to make sure that I kind of wanted to start off with that because I feel it's the easy way out is by not packaging, and I don't think that wins you. That doesn't win you great profitable business as we head into 2020. Okay, let me just see. Okay, so I want to bring this to your attention right now. Karen had posted this. Check this out. I don't know if you all remember, but Brewkit member Karen was planning to do she's planning a big event around Downton Abbey, the return of Downton Abbey. So here's what she says, and she would normally turn her mic on, but her mouth is numb from the dentist. So I wish you healing, Karen. Want to let you know that my Downton Abbey movie event, now listen, be inspired by this, was a huge success. 200 of my closest friends. So friends, I don't know if you remember when we've talked about this in the past, you talk about Karen, making a gutsy move here. She rented a movie theater and invited her closest friends and family to a private screening. Am I right, Karen? And it was a huge success. 200 of my closest friends have lots of interest for my Downton Abbey trip next summer. Wow. What a great, amazing way to gather people who have similar interests, who would be prime candidates to go do this Downton Abbey group trip. I think it's brilliant. I love it. I really do. Karen adds, and then I'm going to go to the list here. We need to think of a comparison to another business or product that is bundled that we compare our package to. Hey, anybody, tell me, talk to me here. What's another business or service or product that will oftentimes give you a package price, but will not do a breakout? Will not say, well, this was $100, this was $13, this was $50. After the show is over, you'll probably come up with 1,000. But if you have any, go ahead and type them in and let's share them, because it's important that we see that we're not the only one. You know, you guys and gals are not the only business people who create a package, who need to keep the pricing mechanism, the breakout, private. Not the only one. Kay said, well, they feel they don't trust you if you don't tell them this is confidential. How else you would word that? Well, here's what I would say. You know, I have negotiated individually with these particular brands. I wouldn't call them vendors, maybe vendors, but not suppliers, because they don't understand, I don't think, the word supplier. And those rates are confidential. They restrict me. There you go. Okay, make them the heavy. Say, because I've negotiated for special group rates, the individual prices cannot be revealed. In order for me to package them in and get you this great, you know, this whole great, more inclusive package, I am restricted. I cannot reveal. They restrict me from revealing the negotiated price point. So make them the heavy. They restrict me. I am restricted. I can't. Or else if the price gets out, then I lose it. You see? I hope that helps. Dawn says, love the rent a theater idea. Isn't it great? Brilliant idea. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing. Kyle's in the house. How about saying my price points, my connections, my negotiations are confidential? But that's why you hired me, along with reducing your stress, risk, and adding value and convenience. That's what Kyle said. So I think, to Kyle's point, you know, we need to be bold and just say the truth. We're not hiding anything. And you can say that. I'm not trying to hide anything from you. I'm on your side. I'm here to get you the best experience possible and the greatest value possible. And I am restricted from revealing. I can't make the individual price points public. Now, if you want me to make a change, tell me. I'm happy to. So let me just read Kyle's again. He said, suggest my price points, connections, and negotiations are confidential, which is why you hired me. That's why my clients love me, because I have a lot of connections. I hold, get this, I love this word, I hold a lot of sway with these companies. And to get this, I have to keep their confidence. I hope you can appreciate that. I would if I could, but I can't. Write that down. I would if I could, but I can't. Hey, Michael, buying a car with package accessories. You have to buy a seat warmer, steering wheel warmer, electronic windows, all in one package. There you go. So in Michael's experience, to get these, you pay to get the car that has the steering wheel warmer, the seat warmer, the electronic windows, and blah, 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 blah. It's a package. So that's a good point. The car comes like that. Either you get it stripped down or you get the deluxe. And you can't pick and choose. Interesting. That's a very good offer. Kay said she likes that explanation. Very cool. And Michael also says, I tell them that this experience is only, listen everybody, is only available through me. Pricing is based on putting it all together as is, and can't be broken down to get the price to get the price of the experience, or the experience can't be broken down, and you can't get this experience that I'm putting together for you anyplace else. I use the phrase, I use multiple suppliers and they all work together to get the best experience and price. So that's what Michael says. Okay, I use multiple, maybe sources, because the word supplier, friends, I think is an internal, we use that loosely. I don't think they get supplier, but maybe sources, maybe vendors. You see what I'm saying? And they all work together to get the best experience and price. There you go. Hey, thanks for sharing, everybody. I want to, let me make a couple of quick announcements, then I have a whole bunch of great stuff to dive into. The next Power Hour is October 17th, and I won't be here. My good friend, and I hope you're a good friend, Mike Marshev, is going to be my guest host. You know, like Conan O'Brien, he has a guest host or whatever. Mike Marshev is my guest host. You know, Mike. So he's going to do it October 17th. It's going to be the same drill. Remember to keep sending in your questions and comments. I'll forward them to Mike, or you can send them direct to Mike if you know Mike, if he's got his email address. But he's going to do it because I am going to be, where am I going to be? Am I on at Nest? I think I'm at Nest Fest. I don't even remember, but I'm at sea, can't do it, and I don't want to take away this training opportunity of Power Hour. And by the way, I am working on the elements of GSSS3. I am taking feedback now, your feedback now. What do you need? What do you want? What do you want more of that I've done in the past? What do you want less of that I've done in the past? Okay, especially my boot campers, because you get it included in boot camp. But I want to make it so darn attractive that you're excited to renew and stay in, and for either people to jump in boot camp to get the value of the sales success summits, and or just buy the summit because I sell it separate too. And I'm just going to drop this little seed here, but Mike and I, speaking of Mike, we're putting plans together for a first ever, something very different mastermind retreat. That may not be the name of it. For now, we're calling it a mastermind retreat. And we're putting a program together. We've never done something like this before. We work together so often. We do different things. But now we're going to join together and put together a monumentally, significantly different, awesomely fantastic mastermind retreat. If you got any feedback for me, let me know. I want to hear. I want to hear. Soliciting ideas, thoughts, suggestions, comments. Would you go? Would you come? I know you're probably going to say, well, it depends on what you're talking about. Well, what do you want us to talk about as we put together the agenda now? And of course, we're keeping it on the down low. And if you notice, this is like group launch sequence, right, friends? I'm doing, this is like a little bit of a whisper, not even the whisper campaign, because there's no save the date yet. They're not even starting there, right? This is just kind of a survey, a very, very, very informal, shot across the bow survey. Are you reading my new TRO articles? They're called motivationally speaking, TRO, or Travel Research Online. So I just published one. Would you buy from you again? Have you read it? This is the newest one. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because, like, I always encourage you to write, if you don't mind, right? If you don't want to write a full 400-word a blog or whatnot, even if it's a paragraph, and I submit it there, and I want to show you what happens when you put yourself out there, when you write. Every once in a while, friends, you're going to get a letter like this, okay, from a new follower. You're going to build your followers. Remember, I've told you, your number one goal is not to make a sale, but to get a follower, and then they'll buy from you. But here's what she wrote to me. I didn't know who she was. She says, your contribution today has really struck a chord. Congratulations on a fun and to the point spin on something we all know, but need a reminder every so often. I'm going to take my game to a whole new level. Linda G. Did you hear that, friends? What are you doing in the marketplace, online, in your online communities, local, in your local communities, to get new followers, to get letters like that? I love it. I get this all the time, and I'm touched, delighted, grateful every time. Friends, this is how you build your list right there. Okay, this was posted by Julie B. Bone Cruises in boot camp, and many of you answered. But I want to get your feedback too, and I'll give you my spin. When you work shows, do you hand out brochures for cruise lines? I am conflicted because the brochures would help attract people to my booth, but I want the prospect to call me and not the cruise lines. Any suggestions? Thank you. So go ahead, friends, if you have anything you want to add to this. And so many of you, Scott, so many of you, I think Kyle, you did too, I don't remember, did answer this question for Julie and help her along here. She says, I have my first trade show coming up to promote my business. I'm looking for tips on how to best engage with prospects and attain quality leads. I mean, there are many ways to work a trade show booth. Yeah, there's no exact science. And I think we talked a little bit about this last time or the time before, but I want this conversation to deal with brochures. So in my humble opinion, especially having been a supplier and worked a gazillion shows as the brand itself, you know, unfortunately, we'd end up tossing, throwing away hundreds of brochures, a huge, colossal waste of money and trees. And then to your point, Julie, you're absolutely right. People walk by, and you're like a library, right? Back in the day when most travel professionals were brick and mortar, who here remembers that? The first thing you see when you walked into a travel agency, and I haven't in a while, although we have a few here in Memphis, and I don't know, will I see the great wall of brochures? You remember that? It was a great wall of brochures. It was a brochure from everything you could think of, beautiful, colorful, and some of them were sitting there so long because the brochures would sort of, would bend over, start to curl. Now, I remember there was an agency at Cruise Holidays, a good friend of mine back in the day, Bob, in New Jersey, and he would put out and on the table, like the tables when people would walk in and wait to have a conversation, he would put out, get this, last year's brochures. Last year's brochures, last year's rates, last year's itineraries. Oh, if you want this year's, come sit down, let's talk. Brilliant, right? So my suggestion, Julie, is that I don't really think it's terribly necessary for you to put out a brochure, because in as much as they look beautiful, people are probably going to swipe it and put it in their bag. If you're going to do that, you want to make sure that you have an insert inside at the very least. At the very least, okay, you can put a stamp on the back. Remember back in the day, I don't know if they still do this, you can put a stamp on it. But if that brochure isn't personalized, if that cruise line brochure just says call 1-800 blah blah blah, which is the cruise line or your favorite travel agent, you may not get that call. So while you're doing a lovely thing, you're giving out brochures and information, you may not generate a lead. So perhaps you can, listen to this, put one out in a frame. Put a bunch out in a frame if you want. And this is just coming to me now, in a frame, right? And you don't want people, if you put one out as a sample, it will disappear. Trust me, it'll be gone. Because when I go to trade shows and I sell my books, people walk up, they think it's a brochure, and they take it, they walk away. No, so you have to frame it and say, hey, listen, I'm happy to send you the newest, latest brochure. Let me take your email address, and I'll follow up. I'll get it to you, the newest one. Now, I don't know who these days likes flipping through a brochure. Some people do, and some people just go online, right? But that's what I would do. At the very least, Julie, talk to the brands, the suppliers that you specialize in, you promote, and maybe you can together, maybe they'll do it free for you. They'll do a custom print, right? Or maybe if you're part of a consortia or part of a franchise, there's something that you can greatly personalize. It still has that brand information on it, so it looks sexy. People like to see a cruise line name that they know, perhaps. Okay, but maybe you just bite the bullet and you print it up. You print up a one-pager, and it's that PDF worksheet, and it's the top 3 tips, top 5 tips. Okay, and this tip is brought to you by Bowen Cruises and Royal Caribbean or Celebrity or Norwegian or Amber Waterways or whatever. And maybe they'll co-sponsor it. They'll pay for half the printing price, which is cheap these days. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about the brochures. I'm not the biggest believer. Let me see what you all say. Oh, Karen D goes back and says, comes back to the conversation before. Don't be so hard on yourself. I'm not going to say the word. She made a mistake. I broke down pricing on a recent FIT, and the client wanted to book the hotels on her own because she could get them cheaper. I did the repricing, but we'll never do it again. Did you hear that, everybody? That's what happens, because they'll find these websites, and there's always a website out there that they make deals, they buy in bulk, right? And they sell it cheaper, but they're also non-refundable, let's say. You have to pay in advance. You can't make a change or refundable. And people don't know this. Karen says, I'm so glad we're having this discussion about packaging. Cool. Jenny says, retreat in person. Eek. I don't know if that was a good eek or a bad eek. Julie said, hi, Stuart. I think you should build on the packaging discussion and have someone who explains how they put their packages together. We can certainly do that. We can do a share best practices thing. Scott says, Mike is a trip. And I'm interested in the mastermind too. Cool. All right, more to come. Lori said, hey, Lori says, you and Mike count me in. Cool. Michael says, me. I would love a mastermind retreat with you two, masterminds of group travel. Cool. And here's the thing, it may or may not be on group travel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not suggesting it's all groups. I mean, there's so much about running a successful business. That's why I want to keep the options open. I don't want to tell you exactly what the agenda is going to be yet. Maloney said, so we're back to the brochure discussion. I do not give out brochures. She says, I sell me and not the suppliers. There you go, Julie. Dawn said, could I suggest someone I think would be a good fit to present at next GSSS? Absolutely. Just send me an email, type it in here. If you want to keep it public or private, that's fine. Don't let me know. That's in the works right now. Michael said, I'm going to my first community days, and I created my own flyers and bookmarks. I love giving out bookmarks, by the way. I've never done it, but I'd love to do it with my own pictures that I describe what I do. Michael describes himself as a travel concierge, and a brief description of my upcoming trips. I use my own artwork with my pictures of me in my travels. I said that slowly so that it would sink in. Friends, at the end of the day, you are one of 100,000 businesses that represent that cruise line, that could sell a cruise line, including them direct, of course. It could still go direct. In this business, it's all about you. It's all about you. Why booking this group or even this single cabin through you is different from me booking 99,999 other places, including direct. What makes it different? And while you might not be able to package a one cabin, which I hope you still can, okay, you at least have to be so vital to that process to transform the entire process from beginning to end, from good to great. And I appreciate you sharing this, Michael, because Michael makes sure he keeps it about him. You're hearing it. His own flyers, his own bookmarks with his own pictures, his own artwork, and pictures of him on his travels. Michael, I appreciate you sharing and inspiring everybody, because I think that's the answer here, Julie. So, it's been nice not to have to, pay to have stuff printed up, and maybe a supplier will agree to co-op it with you. But the more it's about you, the better, the better. Michael said, oh, and business cards, I have 5 different ones for each reflecting my specialty. Way to go. Danny says, I'm home-based and sending brochures is expensive to mail. I send a link to the particular cruise with my contact info on the link. So there's another way to do it. There's no doubt, friends, you should not be shipping out those brochures. No way. Too expensive. That makes no sense. Thank you, Danny, for sharing that. Jenny said, can't wait to get her in person. Good. Good. I appreciate that. Vote of confidence, Jenny. Thank you. That was suggested for Summit 3 for a speaker. Oh, okay. All right. I got it. Oh, in terms of packaging. Thank you, Julia. I appreciate that. Okay. Let me go here now. Thanks, everybody, for sharing. This is, I don't know, for those of you boot camp, did you see Nancy, Adventure Marketplace? She did a Facebook Live from Catalonia. And I'm glad she showcased the fact that she did a Facebook Live. How many of you have started? Have you done your first one? Are you terrified to do a Facebook Live? I just had this conversation a couple of weeks ago when I did my live training in St. Louis. And, because once you start, you're live, man. You're live. Now, you can, if you just can't stand how it went, and maybe it'll happen, then you just say, gotta go. You hit end and you don't post it. It doesn't have to post for forever. It can disappear. Okay, but once you start, you're live. But try it. Just do it. You may love it. So, and I'm not sure Nancy's here right now, but get this. Here's an inspirational story, an idea maybe you can use too. Nancy puts herself in opportunities way. She signed up for a senior college class. It's called OLLI, a senior college class, and that's why she may not be able to be on today's call. And it's on Broadway musicals of the 40s. And get this, New York City and musicals, and Brian Allen, I guess he's the teacher, needs my help to get his beloved students on a New York City on a group tour. So see what Nancy's doing, friends. She's going where her prospects hang out. She's going to them. She's not waiting for them to come to her. She's putting herself out there, sitting in that room, learning what they're learning, getting juiced up, excited, and she's being a part of their experience. And now she's going to know how to craft a group experience. Absolutely brilliant, Nancy. And I appreciate you sharing, and I applaud your courage to do Facebook Live. Sam, get this now. Remember last time we talked about Sam, who who shouted to the world that she is now certified in, and I think it was Scotland or Ireland, one or the other. And the bottom line is she could not believe the level of excitement, enthusiasm that she started. It was like a ripple effect. Remember I said that? Because I encouraged all of you, let everybody know what training you're going to, what certification you just got. Let the world know. We want to know. Remember, make it about you. This goes back to Michael's point. So Stuart, with that Ireland-Scotland group that I'm still working on, she's working on itinerary for next year because she had no idea it was going to generate so much interest. I've been reaching out to many people pretty much on a one-on-one basis, and she's dropping them postcards because she's gathering information. What do you want to do? What do you want to see? And I know when you go to do your group launch sequence, Sam, you're going to use the coveted group launch sequence, but right now you're talking to them. I love that level of personal. So you're making it more relational than transactional, friends. Make those phone calls. Talk to the client, or I should say the unclient, because remember, if they don't have something in the works with you right now, if they don't have money in house, then they're an unclient. That means there's nothing cooking. They're only a client when you've got their money. Does that make sense? We could talk for a long time about that. Get this. This is the big point here. I'm so surprised by the interest of people who have been to Ireland and Scotland already, but have told me I've always wanted to go back. Sam hosted a small group in 2017, and she wanted to go back, but she didn't realize that others felt that way too. In fact, almost everyone who joined me in 2017 is rejoining me. Are you hearing what I'm saying? For the return visit next year. And of course, we'll revisit a few favorite places and discover some new ones. And she's added Scotland to that trip because that was just Ireland. So let that be an inspiration. Have you gone someplace and you personally want to go back, and you may not think anybody is interested, but surprise, surprise, friends. I mean, that's awesome. Good luck to you. Did that inspire an idea for any of you to revisit a trip you went to in the past that you want to do again? Wherever it is. It could be a trip like this, or it could be a river cruise, wherever, to a resort. All right, let me check the boards here. And then I've got a really interesting, I received an interesting email from an agent who attended one of my training sessions, and I want to get your take on it. So let me go check the boards here. Nancy says, hi, Stuart, catching up after class. Welcome here, Nancy. Yeah, we just highlighted your Facebook Live, which was super cool you did, and also the fact that you're in this Broadway musicals of the 40s class, meeting people. You're immersing yourself into their community, friends. That's the answer. Remember that 15-minute meeting thing I talk to you about all the time? You're immersing yourself into their community. You're not going there to sell. Nancy's not standing up in one of these classrooms, our Broadway musicals of the 40s, and she's not standing up saying, hey, let's go to New York. Who wants to go with me? Sign up now. No. She's making friends. She's learning what they learn. She's hanging out where they hang out. That's the big secret to success. Kyle said, may I suggest, decide what is the main purpose of you attending the trade show. Now, Julie, and for everybody who attends trade shows, I know many of you do, what's the main purpose? If it's to collect leads, have one lead generation tool only. Create and design how you will control the lead to it. Have your booth different than anyone else, inviting, and make it warm. I believe most trade shows offer price giveaways. You may want to create your own, where you then get leads from that. Price giveaways. I'm not sure what you mean by price giveaways. Drawings. Are you talking about that? But he says, I would not do brochures because people buy you today and not your business name or the vendor. So he supports Michael's concept too. And I like your tips here. Make it warm and inviting. But know your purpose when you go there. What's the trigger? Okay. What's the story they're going to hear from you? What story are you going to tell that's going to you don't want to give them, it's not about you giving out as many brochures and as many flyers as possible, because you don't know if they're going to follow up with you. You need to collect their email address. You need to collect their information. Say, here, take this home as my gift, but I will follow up with you too with the rest of that information. Is that okay? May I have your email address, please? But it needs to be purposeful. Maloney said, besides, brochures, listing, pricing are outdated the minute they hit the streets. There you go, Maloney. Outdated. Nancy says, oh, when she did a Facebook Live, it was 4 a.m. Eastern time. But there you go. You let it ride. You let it roll. Good job. Lonnie said, the group tour I brought through Memphis was the result of my approaching a local radio station with the idea of fundraising, a fundraising tour for the station. It was a huge success. Now they want to do at least one a year. Way to go. And maybe this is also opening up your eyes, everybody. What's wrong with domestic tours? What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with it. You don't necessarily have to go someplace, at sea or to internationally. I know, Nancy, this is the majority of your business. And so many of you do this too. And that also will lead to people who say, oh, really, you're doing something internationally next year? Great, I'll go with you there too because I love what you do locally. They may not, but they may. Dawn said, okay, privately. Oh, Nicole, it's privately. Okay. Okay. Yep, let's do it, Dawn. Let's have a conversation and let's see if we can make that happen. Jenny said, I'm going to Ireland, Scotland at the end of this month. Have a great time. I'm envious. I've never been. I was supposed to be going to Israel in April 2020. Postponed that till March 2021 because my daughter, Danielle, is having a baby in February of 2020, and I want to be around here and not in Israel so I can spend as much time with her as possible, even though she may be like, okay, Dad, we're good. Now, I'm going to be a grandfather. Yay. Nancy said, just back from Spain, but have a good group that went to Italy yesterday. Wanted to do both, but needed to keep working on future groups. See, so Nancy does domestic and international. She's back from Spain, and she had another group in Italy. Kyle said, okay, trade show giveaways. So you can give away tchotchkes and stuff like that, trade show giveaways. Absolutely. Whether it's the pen or something that's useful. Sure, it's got your name and number on it. If it makes sense to you, rock and roll. Okay, Sam is sharing some of her trade show tips. So pay attention, everybody. Trade shows, don't just stand behind a table waiting for someone to approach. Stand outside your booth and welcome people as they approach you. And don't forget to give your info to other vendors before the show. Walk around. When I do these shows, that was so important to me. If I had somebody else working the booth, I'd walk around. Who else can I meet? There's business to be had right there. Obviously, they're working the show and they're interested in the same consumer base. What opportunities, either for business or joint ventures, JVs? And in fact, at 15 minutes past the top of the hour, I have a meeting. Do you remember Teddy Burris? I'm going to mention his name right now because he is a LinkedIn pro. Talk about a niche. His niche is LinkedIn. And so I'm going to work with him because he's really brilliant. His teaching style is terrific. He was in both summits, as a matter of fact. Do you want it back for a third? Let me know if it fits the agenda naturally. But I'm going to be talking to Ted about doing launch because he's launching a new training program. I know, Scott, so many of you were interested in that, but I'm going to see if we can work together to help bring it to you. So she said, I got 2 bookings from 2 of the vendors in booths 4 aisles away from me. Rock on, Sam. Good for you. That's awesome. It's a great tip. Julie, I hope you have time to do that. Jenny said she's going to Israel, Egypt in December. Man, I love you travel people. I really do. You go places. You go places. Karen D is leaving for Austria tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Good luck. Have a great, great time and post from there. And Karen D said trade shows give away candy. People love to get candy. And it opens up conversations. There you go. Candy. Nancy says, what trade shows do you recommend we attend as advisors for the best bang for the buck? World Travel Market, Education Travel Forum, Signature Travel Network. And Nancy said she loved Teddy Burris. So I don't know, Nancy. I can't tell you what trade shows to recommend because I haven't been to all of them. I speak at some of them. I definitely see some are just overall better than others, but they're all pretty good these days. Because they know they have to be very good in order to get you to come out. I don't know. Let's take a poll. We should take a poll. Post it in boot camp or right here, friends. If there's a particular trade show that you love, that you always go to, or a conference. Now, granted, if you're not a member of Signature Travel Network, you can't go. If you're not a member of Travel Leaders Network, you can't go to Edge or to the Sales Expos. so forth and so on. Not member Virtuoso, you can't go to Virtuoso, but I'm just curious to see what shows you all think are the best that you go to. Let's share best practices. And if you type it in here, I'll try to read it. At the very least, we'll share it in our boot camp group. Maloney says, coming to my January tour to Israel and Jordan. Oh my gosh. Well, it's actually going to be, we're going to be 3 couples. Maloney, we're going to go 2021 in March. And my wife's actually been there 3 times already. And she loves it. Can't wait to go back. I've never been. Thank you for the invitation. That's what I expect of you. Each and every one of you should be inviting me and everybody you know on the planet to your tours. Kyle said, find the trade shows where your ideal client is. Yeah. Other clients there that you know you can help, that you know who need you. If not, you're wasting your time. Nana said travel leaders. Okay, so she goes to Edge and she loves it. Thank you. And Julia says, I'm staying away from travel shows and going to a home and garden show because I want garden cruises. Got it. So, of course, naturally, Julie, we're talking about the shows you go to, industry shows for education, inspiration, networking with your colleagues versus the consumer-facing shows, the ones that you're going to, the garden cruises, which is awesome. I'm glad you're going there because you're immersing yourself, Julia. You're immersing yourself into their community. And I love how many times I see this happening with so many of you. So I have to read this to you. Here's the question. And I know you're going to be able to answer this. Isn't the mission to work together to sell X number of cabins on such and such sailing? She's talking about what the mission is when you're working with a group leader. Isn't the mission to work together to sell X number of cabins on? Well, yes. And remember, I preached to you how important it is that your mission and the group leader's mission, they have to be one and the same. Now, my guess is your overall top mission, and you have to define this. Don't just say we want to sell 50 cabins. That's part of your objectives, okay? But the mission has to be to have a great family reunion where the grandkids and the grandparents are all participating in events and have individual and group time. Do you see what I'm saying? As a mission statement. I think the mission statement, and here's how I responded to her, has to be holistic. Selling 50 staterooms, well, that's part of it. How are we going to achieve that success? Well, part of it is we need to sell 50 because then we can get the benefits and such and the incentives, and we'll all be together, and it's a win-win-win for everybody. And then you can list that, you know. But primarily, friends, the mission has to be about the group experience you want to achieve because, friends, you can sell 50 staterooms and the experience could be lousy, it could suck. So big deal you sold 50. It can't be about a sales race. It has to be about an experience race. And secondarily, the number of staterooms. Am I making sense? And then she said, the Pied Piper, listen, you know how I'm going to respond. The Pied Piper gets a free cabin and I get a ton of commission? Question mark. No. And I answered it back. No, the Pied Piper doesn't get a free cabin. Who is that, a law? Does your supplier, does the brand force you to do this? Does the group leader have this as a contractual guarantee that all group leaders get this? Of course not. I've told you this ad nauseum. It's none of their darn business what your TC policy is, when you're earning it, how you're earning it, what the value is. It's your business, not theirs. And no, they're not entitled to it. And yeah, I'd love you to get a ton of commission, but remember, there's no such thing as a ton of commission because you're probably going to be handcuffed. It's going to be 10%, 12%, maybe 15%. The whole idea is package, right? When you package, you can control your margin. You can make even more. But at the end of the day, the free cabin is something that's negotiable. And how do you even know they want a free cabin? What if they're wealthy and that's the last thing they need? What if it's in an organization and they can't accept it free? But once you open your mouth and offer it, and they say thanks, okay, that's very kind of you, and we also need $50 a head. Uh-oh, you've just overcommitted. You showed your cards. It's like playing poker. when all your cards are showing. You can't win. You'll get destroyed. So, friends, you need to qualify. What do you need? What do you want? Let them tell you what they want. And if they want a free cabin, and you know a free cabin ain't really free, right? How many other fees and costs and taxes are associated with it? You have to develop an incentive scale. When we reach this goal, you'll get 25% of it. Then you'll earn 50% of it. And if you want it to be 100% free, which means taxes and port taxes and fees, you don't have to tell them NCCFs. That's none of their business. They don't need to know that, right? That's your business. You need to cover that part. Am I making sense? She says, you say, because she remembers I said not to offer free cabins as an incentive. Exactly. And unless they specifically want it, and show them how they can earn it. Sure. Of course you can have a free cabin. And here's what we need to do. Let me crunch the numbers to show you when you can earn it. But the TC thing is not their business. We talked about this before. If somebody says, hey, can you break out the elements of the package? I want to see what each one costs. No. Well, can you show me the TC, don't you earn, 1 for 15 berth? Well, that's something I negotiate, but I'll take care of that. And remember, I'm here to put together an amazing package for you, and I work on that end direct, and it gives me the ability to give you an amazing experience far beyond what you could have ever imagined. But that's not yours. Yeah. You got to do it lovingly, but you got to be firm, friends. You got to stay in control. So there you go. I just had to share that with you. All right, let me check the boards here. We have 3 minutes left. So don't go 3 minutes. Maybe something's going to pop on the screen here that you need to see, you need to hear, is going to move you, inspire you. I've got a boatload of travel coming up, Eurodam and Symphony of the Seas, and I've got sales retreat in New York, sales expo in New Jersey. I'm going to New Jersey for a sales expo. So much, I'm so excited. And like I said, we're putting plans together for a mastermind retreat, quote, because that may not be the name, with me and Mike. Ideas, shoot them over to me, shoot them over to Mike. Next Power Hours, October 17. Mike is your host. We've got 2 minutes left. Any comments, questions? Did you like this morning's slides? I will, as I did before, post them in Group Sales Bootcamp. And by the way, if you are an invited guest, I sent an invitation, as I often do, to our bootcamp alumni. You were in, now you're out, to come back. And if you like what's going on here, I welcome you back. That $100 renewal fee is always there for the whole year, $100 a year. You spend more than that on coffee. Then you can participate in this, get access to both Group Sales Success Summits. And I hope, by the way, you'll go see what I've done with Group Sales Success Summit 1 and 2 online, GSSS for keeps. I hope you like that new layout, the new format. And I'm looking for comments and feedback on the summits as well. Danny said, great presentation slides. You're very welcome, Danny. And love the slides, Jenny says. There you go. All right, friends. If there's nothing further, I'm going to let you go. So I'm going to give you a 30-second countdown. 30-second countdown. Is that it? We good? All right, everybody. Good luck. I'll be monitoring the Facebook group even during my travels and doing my best on email. And I'll mark everything as out of office. But I wish you great success. Remember, 2020 is around the corner. And if it's going to be a shrinking contracting marketplace, what do you need to do? You need to build your market share. You got to make sure the business you already have the book sticks, and you got to make sure all the ones you have in the pipeline sell, and you got to reach out to your prior unclients because they got nothing in the works, and make sure they come back to you first. Bye. Thank you.